Hello everyone and welcome to Talk of the Town. Thanks so much for tuning in. My name is Karen Bukes and I'm your host for the evening. I had a wonderful trip in California. Our daughter's 50th birthday. We went out there and had a fabulous 2-week vacation. Came back nice and tanned. Very happy. And pretty soon you're going to be seeing a new opening. Working on that, I would say within the next couple of weeks, you'll be seeing a new opening for Talk of the Town. And a little announcement here. You know, we have a dear friend, Allie, who owns Allie's Galley. And she's moving on in the fall. And she would like to pass on her business to somebody who cares about that type of business just as much as she does. And if you're interested, please call her or stop by. It's a wonderful opportunity, and Allie will give you all the details. Okay, let's welcome our underwriters. Stoll's Cafe in Manomet, delicious sandwiches, salads, and more. Evolution Salon, on the way to Sagamore there. One Stop Painting. Brewster PC Solutions with Wrestling Brewster. Attorneys Trifoletti and Costa on Long Pond Road. And our very first underwriter, Kevin and David Gallerani, owners of Cape Auto Body and Service. Locations are Samoset and Sandwich Streets right here in Plymouth. And Ken and I and the crew want to say happy anniversary to Dave and his lovely wife. Talk of the Town has someone on tonight that is very special. He works enthusiastically, bringing everyone in our town a better quality of life. You can also say he works diligently, bringing us a healthy lifestyle. And it doesn't hurt that he sits on the Plymouth Planning Board. Please welcome Malcolm McGreggor.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks. For that introduction, I hope I can live up to it.
Oh, Malcolm, you've been living up to it for years now, and it's absolutely the truth. Now, tonight we have some photos. You sent them in, and tell people what you do, mapping out Plymouth, the roads, and how you do it.
Well, over the years I've been building a set of trail maps, and my goal in this is to have Miles Standish State Forest as the centerpiece, and trails going into it from various locations in Plymouth, Bourne, and Wareham, and Carver, and going out of it. And I've been mapping those over the years, and I've had some luck with it. But what those trails are to me is an indication of the ability to create a green or a natural corridor, or a buffer. And the buffer can be between residential subdivisions, it can be between residential and commercial, residential and industrial. It does a lot in terms of healthy living. You can hike, you can bike, you can ski, you can horseback ride. It also does a lot in cleaning up the air and a lot in reducing noise transmission between areas, and makes a far better quality of life. And the design that we've we on the planning board have been looking at since the master vision was created some years ago are green corridors from North Plymouth Center, from Manomet and from Cedarville into the state forest. And I've mapped trails in those and extended them out into Wareham, Bourne, and Carver.
That's a long process, Malcolm, and when you say years, you have been doing this for years. What is your process? I know that you have a lot of trails already, but how do you find the new trails?
I just go out in the woods and wander aimlessly around until I get from one place to another. And when I figured one out, then I take a GPS and
sure.
make it easier and then map it.
Yeah, okay.
I take the information off the GPS and put it on a map.
But you go alone first.
A lot of times I do, but
Yeah.
I'm in a couple of hiking groups and we go twice a
good.
week as well.
Good. That's how come you're so trim and slim. That's really wonderful. And so people do walk with you.
Oh yes, well, it's quite popular.
Yes, I know
Yeah.
it is. You know, it gets you in touch with nature.
Yeah, it does.
When Kenny and I...
Especially lots of ticks.
Yes, and you came in with one tonight. Yes, it had to be in the car.
Yeah, I hope so.
I want you to fumigate that car. What was the longest, what is the longest walk on your mapping quest?
Well, if you do one-way hikes, you can now walk from the railroad station in North Plymouth to Towne and Wareham, and that's probably a 25-mile walk.
Wow.
It's not all trails and all woods, obviously. It's through downtown and then into the town forest and then into the state forest and out of the state forest into Frogfoot and then Towne.
You would have to bring water with you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
25 miles is...
Backpack. Do you use a backpack?
Yeah, that's a whole day.
That's a whole day. Sneakers, you wear sneakers?
No, I wear boots.
Boots. Oh, yeah, hiking boots.
Hiking boots.
Do you recommend sneakers?
There are some good hiking sneakers, yeah. Boots are a little stiffer, and I like them a little better.
It'd be better for your feet.
Yeah.
Now, and you document the walk with the GPS. I mean, what did you do before? Before there was GPS?
I just walked. I didn't map
And
it.
wrote down?
Yeah, I wrote. Well, I can remember a lot of.
Yeah.
I never thought about, making it public until so I just remembered where they were, and then about 1990 or so we started to say, gee, we should make this public, and
share it.
It's a wonderful, healthy activity.
You know what I notice when people come into the planning board, because I watch it on television whenever I can, now they're thinking on how to give the trails, because that's going to be one of your first questions and Kenny's first question, but mainly you. Is there an ability for a trail somewhere on the property? And they're starting to think like that.
Yes, they are. And we have some interesting subdivision rules and regulations, mainly clusters. And when we cluster the houses, we have lots of open space. And the idea will be to try and make sure that that open space is in a trail system, or will be in start of a, maybe not a trail system, but at least a green system, a green barrier, a green buffer.
Now, do you spray yourself down for, mosquito repellent?
No, for ticks, I use permethrin. And that pretty well keeps them off.
Keeps everything away.
Yeah, they haven't been too bad this year. They were bad in the early spring, but not this year. I haven't had many, except tonight from my car.
That one was in the car. Does the planning department help you at all?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I know Valerie.
Valerie did, and Valerie and I were working on the community health aspect of these trails, and now Robin Carver and I are working on that.
I like her. I've seen
she's
her.
very nice.
Very good. Do you work with the hospital at all?
When Val was here, we were working with the hospital. We haven't gotten back to them yet because Robin has enough to do
Yeah, right
getting
now.
used to things before we get
Sure.
into that.
Sure, she's very capable.
But that
Well-
involves marking streets and making sure people can walk
Yeah.
downtown or bike downtown, and then, as well as the trails.
Do you bicycle?
I do.
Good. I need a helmet. We both have bikes, but we have to get the helmets.
Yeah.
I really don't like it to see people without helmets.
Oh no, they're definitely a benefit.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, would you like to start with the photos?
We could. An interesting one is the first 8, which was a
Okay.
National Trail Day hike we had from downtown into the state forest.
Okay.
So it's a 10-mile hike. We stop for lunch halfway along, and you're going from the historic view downtown into the woods and into the state forest.
Sure.
And a wonderful tourist activity, I would think.
Yes.
And on the screen now is a map of that, and you can see it starts at the 1820 courthouse, goes over to Jenny Pond, under the Billington Street Bridge, and then skirts by the Home Depot Plaza,
Right.
into Town Forest, and then into the state forest to Rocky Pond.
Okay.
And the following
Photo.
7 photos are pictures of it.
Nice. Nice. Now, who's that? Anybody you know?
I can't tell from here.
Oh, somebody walking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's somebody on our group.
In your
But,
group. Yep. Oh, yep. Nice. Now,
That's,
were there little kettle ponds?
Yeah,
Yeah.
little kettle ponds along the way.
Right.
Actually, I don't think these are in order, because the first one was a cemetery, then Jenny Pond,
Oh,
then Town Brook, and I had to. Ken, are they numbered?
no.
Can you tell?
No, they're not.
Oh, okay. I have them numbered on the front, on the.
Oh.
All right. Oh well.
Oh,
That's
well.
okay.
Okay, so we'll just
Yeah,
wing
we'll
it.
go through them. Yeah. This is a hike we took, which was an interesting hike down the Wankinko River from the state forest to Towne, and it is the western boundary of Plymouth and Carver.
I never heard of that river.
It's mostly bogs, but it's a big
Oh, isn't that pretty?
river.
I like that.
That's on top of the Pine Hills.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It looks familiar.
Yeah.
Oh, what-
That's the hike loop. Let's see, on top of the Pine Hills.
oh.
It's about a 5-mile loop.
Right around the Pine Hills.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the waterways there? The ponds.
Brush Pond.
That's where I am.
Yeah, and I've forgotten what the other one is.
Yeah. Wow. Can't see. Door shut, Kenny. I can't hear you.
There's Tidmarsh Farms.
That's
a
across.
view from
Yep.
the hill in Manomet.
That's a beautiful, beautiful area.
Yeah.
You ever go along where the brook
Yeah.
goes along? It's just absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, that's another picture of Tidmarsh on top of a hill that sort of overlooks the whole bog area, which is now being resurrected into its natural state. There it is, the town, Bartlett Brook,
Oh, yeah.
looking up the bogs from the east.
Yeah.
Bartlett Brook has been restructured. There's a loop which starts, you see on the right of the bogs
Yeah.
off Beaver Dam Road, goes up the Pine Hills, along the crest, and then back down again. And that is a fairly steep hike.
It is. I was just going to say that.
It's a good workout going up.
That is
on
a
the
hike.
top branch.
You
Yeah.
can look. You look over to the right, and you see up there.
Yeah.
And you can see a lot. My son has made that hike.
Yeah, that's a good hike. And in the lower left corner was an offshoot to the tower,
Oh
the
yes.
fire tower.
Oh, yes, the fire tower. Oh, you
Oh,
can see the water.
that's the downtown hike, the National Trail Day hike. A look at the cemetery overlooking the town of Plymouth.
I want to
And-
go back to Tidmarsh Farms. Now there's going to be a trail.
Well, we sort of walk along the roads,
Yeah.
which were the original bog roads,
Okay,
and then around what used to be Bartlett Pond.
Right.
There's a beach that you can walk along the side of it, and then come out into the woods at the end of that, and then loop back through that little subdivision and get back onto the bog roads and make a complete loop. So we've started one from Bethany's now. Used to be
Metros, yes, Bethany's.
Start
yeah.
there, go down to Tidmarsh, go around that loop, and then back to the restaurant.
That's not far.
That's about a 5-mile hike.
Yeah. So around the church.
Yeah, through the church lot,
Yeah.
across Bartlett Road, right about near your house.
Yeah.
Then around around the bog, around where the pond used to be,
Yes.
and then onto the dirt roads and back,
And back.
and then back onto the bogs and around the back of the bogs.
Now that water goes straight to the ocean
It does,
and spills out right there at White Horse Beach.
yes.
So cleaning that up, the fish will be able to make its way back up, but that's, what's going to come up? The
herring
the herring.
will come back up, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the purpose for doing that, and that's the same thing they did at the Eel River
Right.
restoration.
Yes.
Took
that-
down a lot of dams
Fantastic.
and or put up a lot of better fish ladders so the fish could get all the way up and spawn.
Right. Can we continue, Kenny? Ooh.
Oh, that's a U.S. Geological Survey plaque at the top of Pine Hills,
Really?
which is the highest point on the East Coast between Cadillac Mountain and some mountain in Georgia.
No, sir.
It's
I didn't know that.
It's the highest point, which the slope comes up from the water and it doesn't drop down and go back up again.
Oh, I get it. Okay. So that's wonderful.
Yeah,
It's known for that.
yeah.
Okay, so where are we?
That's on part of the Tidmarsh hike.
That's a beautiful
Yeah.
area.
Yeah. That hike is the hike we took down the Wankinko River, which I said was the western boundary of Plymouth and Carver. It's a fairly substantial river. It comes out in Wareham at the nail factory.
Wow.
And it starts right at the administration center of the state forest, and it's a beautiful walk.
Oh.
Unfortunately, one part of it you have to go behind the Carver dump, but other than that,
That's all right.
it's a beautiful walk.
Yeah. Nice wide road.
There it is.
Oh,
There's a picture of it.
isn't that nice? Very nice. It almost looks like Tidmarsh Farms. Because
Yeah.
they have areas like that there.
Oh yeah, beautiful areas. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's a fish ladder at on the Wankinko.
Mine can go.
This is a hike at the 1,000 acres.
Wow. How long is that?
That's 5 miles,
That's
roughly.
only
5.
5?
There's a parking area right where the red dot is that the
Yeah.
Boy Scouts have built,
Oh, yeah.
and that pretty much covers the 1,000 acres. On the easterly side of Bourne Road. There's more on the other side.
I walked it with Kenny once and the Hapgoods, and it's quite interesting in there.
No, it's beautiful.
It's absolutely beautiful.
There's a horse pond down at the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
That branch, that straight branch at the top,
Yeah.
if you're on that path, you can keep going straight, and you'll end up in Bourne Conservation Land, and which will take you to the Cape Cod Canal at the Herring Run.
Oh, okay. Never knew. All right. Next one.
That's on the 1,000 acres. That's right near Horse Pond, a fairly large glacial erratic.
Right, and that's sort of a wide area. Where we went, it was very close, and a lot of trees and brush, and some homesteads that used to be there.
Oh,
You
that
know,
must have been on the other side, maybe.
yeah, like cellars and things like that. All handmade.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
haven't seen
very interesting.
That's Horse Pond
I always hear people talk about Horse Pond.
on the 1,000 acres.
Yeah. Next
It's
one.
pretty well eutrophied, but it's
Oh,
pretty.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's that top trail I mentioned. We're going back towards Bourne Road. If you were coming this way,
Okay.
in about 3 miles, you'd reach the Cape Cod Canal.
Okay. All right. Ah.
Another view. Oh, that's Jenny Pond. Yeah, that was on the National Trails Day hike. We started at the parking lot at the 1820 courthouse, went over the cemetery, down to Jenny Pond,
Now
and then Uptown Brook.
I have a question for you. Maybe you know. There's a lot of waterfowl in that pond. Does that hurt the pond?
Yeah, it eutrophies the pond.
Yes.
Years ago, a lot of people fed the
Right.
geese there, and they had to
Yes.
stop that, which
Yeah.
so it's improved considerably.
Have a lot of them left? Because I
Yeah,
haven't been
there's-
in there in a while.
There's not too many. There's
Yeah.
a few, but not many.
Yeah, I would imagine it would pollute the water.
Oh, yeah, it does.
Oh, that's too
It
bad.
surely does. And
Yeah.
It turns it all
Yeah. Green.
bright green.
Yeah. What's that one?
Oh, that's a good question. That's in the state forest. That's coming out of going west on the state forest and then looping, and it goes over to Carver. That's Federal Furnace Road on the
okay.
left in Carver.
All right.
And that's a beautiful walk, but it's not in Plymouth.
Yeah.
And here's some pictures of it.
Okay. So that goes in through Carver.
Yeah, you start at the fire tower in the state forest, and that's a bog along the way.
Okay. Well, you know, we
And
don't
there's
know
a
what's
flume.
there. Yeah.
They're really pretty. There's some, spectacular walks,
Yeah.
the things you can see. No mountain views, and there's somebody's vehicle.
Wow. How did they get that there?
That's a good question. We've seen that. That's in Carver.
And that's a very old car.
Yeah, there's a boat off of near Mast Road.
Oh, Mast
In the
Road.
woods,
Oh, yeah, a boat.
Yeah, that's that same hike. This is in State Forest,
Oh,
and
that's nice.
that's called New Grassy Pond, which is in Plymouth in the State Forest,
In the state forest.
and that's one of the prettiest areas. And there's the Grassy Pond hike.
What about College Pond, Malcolm? Has that been cleaned up? Is that
Yeah,
better than it was?
it's whenever I've been by it, it's
Yeah.
pretty good. There's a lot of swimmers in there, which tend
Yeah.
to have the opposite effect.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I was wondering about that. We used to, years ago when we first moved here, but of course, everything was clean. And over the years, it's
Yeah, it seems to be pretty good. That's an interesting pond because it starts, if you look at the topographic map, it starts at the top, and then there's 3 other ponds
Yeah.
that are downstream from it,
yeah.
and it flows out, and it's the start of the Wankinko River, actually.
Ah.
It's all underground flow until you get to near
That
near
is
the administration building, and then it becomes a surface river.
right.
And if you look at the topography, that was a sort of a drainage canal from the glacier.
Now, mine, the fresh pond, they haven't found the bottom of it. They say they don't know where the bottom is, but it's being fed somehow.
Yeah, it'll be a spring-fed, groundwater-fed pond.
Groundwater-fed pond. And at one time they were filling it with nice pink, not salmon, trout.
No,
Yeah, Rob Beelan used to go fishing.
no, I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if
Okay.
it's deep enough, it'll be cold enough for
Yeah,
them.
it
so,
is.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's
That's just a little side pond near New Grassy Pond in the state forest.
Yeah, all the glaciers just stopped there.
Yeah. I don't recognize that one. Let's see where that might
Is
be.
that Tidmarsh?
No,
No.
no.
We can't hear you. Open the door.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
had them numbered, but
Yeah.
that's okay.
It's
That might be Town Brook.
what is it? For Towne?
Yeah, that's Town Brook.
Oh,
That's going
okay.
up on the National Trail Day hike.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and so this is the new bridge over Town Brook.
Yes.
Yeah, Kenny introduced me to that one.
Yep.
And then we're going along. That's Cook's Pond on that same hike. So we went over the cemetery, into Jenny Pond, up the brook, into the town forest to Cook's Pond,
Wow.
and then along Hog Rock Road in Plymouth, and then in the state forest. And the last,
Oh,
we
look
found a
at
couple,
that.
found a half a dozen of those lady slippers that day.
You know, when I first moved here, they covered my whole side yard, and we knew not to touch them. And over the years, they just slipped away.
They went away. Same with my yard. They've gone away, but I had probably 10 of them. And they seem to go from one place to another. They're never in the same same
Do you
location.
think it's environmental that ruined it for them, that species?
I don't think so.
They're so delicate.
Yeah, well, if it could be, but
Yeah.
out in the woods, I don't think so too
Okay.
much. No.
All right, next one, please. Eel River.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's the
I love the Eel River.
Eel River Loop. You can see the loop. Now that one starts on Long Pond Road,
Yeah,
and from the parking lot you can do a 1 mile loop,
yeah.
a 2 mile loop,
Oh,
a 4 mile loop,
oh, good.
a 6 mile loop, or you can do a one-way trip into College Pond, which is about 6 miles, 7 miles.
That's not bad.
No, right from that little parking area. So the reconstruction of that bog to that area was well done.
Phenomenal. Now,
Yeah.
doesn't the Eel River go into Marshfield?
No,
No.
it goes to it comes out at Burt's.
I know, but what is that? I always thought we had one that went clear to Marshfield. No.
No.
Kenny's saying no, too.
It's all flowing the other way.
Okay. All right. This is why I'm not on the planning board.
Well, I've heard some people have said in the past that some of our underground water comes from Marshfield, but
Oh.
this was from north of us. But this was years ago, before the U.S. Geological
Oh,
Survey did a study
good.
and mapped all our groundwater, and
Sure.
it's all self-contained in Plymouth and Carver.
We have the best water,
Yeah, it's
and other towns want it, and we don't want to give it to them.
I know. It's a huge aquifer.
Yes.
In the early 80s, late 70s, early 80s, the MDC, which had control of Boston's water, wanted to come and pump.
No.
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 Their efforts put them out of the water business.
Yeah, I know, and the bills are astronomical what they do, but no. That's why our pine barrens are so important, and when people think about your CPC monies going to a good cause, you get a lot of bang for your buck through that, because it preserves your water and your forests, and you need all that.
Oh, absolutely.
So people don't connect that. So, do we have more?
That's pretty much all of them,
That's
I
it?
think. Yeah.
That was very interesting. I probably could do a 5 mile, a 2 to 5. But then what happens? I mean, You got to walk back.
Well, you do some loops.
Yeah.
Frank Wernie's in his book has 100 loops of anywhere from 2 to 5 miles. And that's what we do most of the time. Very rarely do we do a one-way hike.
Yeah. Dropping a car off.
At both ends, because when there's 10 people, it's difficult to do.
Now, when you bring a lunch, what do? You pack it?
Yeah, just put it in the backpack.
Yeah.
Find a place to sit and eat it.
Nice. Yeah. That's nice. So what are you working on now, Malcolm? Another,
I'm working on my trails map. I have the latest one that we'll have at the Wildlands Trust 5K race in the state forest on Saturday.
On Saturday, yeah.
Open Space Committee, which I'm on, we'll have a table there, and I'll have that map.
Where will the table be situated?
I don't know.
Oh, you don't know yet?
It's by Charge Pond somewhere.
Oh, okay.
There's a big field there at Charge Pond.
Okay.
And a group has asked me to map some destinations for 2020.
Oh, good.
So I have the destination. I'm working on the map for the destinations, and then what we'll do is sit down and build routes.
Yeah.
Walking, biking, or automobile routes.
I love it.
From one destination to another.
Absolutely. That's a good thought.
Yeah,
Whoever had that,
yeah.
that's a very good one.
Yeah. And I was speaking to Robin Carver the other day, and she said, well, why don't we put that on a cell phone app or a GPS app so that people can look at it.
Absolutely.
It's a little bit out of my bailiwick, but we'll give it a try.
Do you know that's the thing to do? Kenny just got a new app that if he puts the phone up to the sun, it will show all the stars and planets around it. And if you put it up to the moon, it shows you the constellations.
Oh, wow.
What a great teaching tool. And there's a new app coming out that if you put your phone to a tree or a flower, flora and fauna, it'll tell you what it is. Or a bird. Now that's coming out. I think you're on to something, mapping, having these apps for people to.
Oh yeah, some of the directions would be complicated. So if you can have it so that the device can tell you how to get from one place to the other.
It's easier holding the phone than taking out the map.
Oh yeah.
But I like that idea. So so you're working on that, and that's a big thing. That'll keep you going until.
That'll keep me going for a while.
Yeah.
I have a sabbatical coming up next spring, and I'll be working with the Wildlands Trust on doing some of their trail mapping and stuff.
Good.
Then.
Good. Now they have that building.
At Davis Douglas Farm. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that'll be spectacular, and we'll we'll try and make that a hub.
Yes.
Where people can come and start to go on trails in any number of directions.
They did a good job. I mean, the house, I'm sure they're still working on it, but it's going to be a great place to go. And perhaps are they going to sell things inside that are related to the area, or have maps and apps?
Maps for sure. It's mainly an office building, but
because if people stop there, the Wildlands Trust, I mean, does every state have one, Malcolm? Wildlands Trust?
Well, they have similar things.
Yeah.
I guess, like the Sierra Club and the Nature Conservancy.
Sierra.
They're all land
I noticed since the bog has stopped producing cranberries across the street, we've gotten more and more birds. And birds, a little bit different kinds of birds. I have to get my bird book back for my son because they're not looking, a couple of them are not looking familiar. But the Conservancy asked me, are you noticing more birds? And I said, absolutely.
Yeah. If you go up to Bartlett Pond, there's hundreds and hundreds of red-winged blackbirds
Oh,
now.
my yard's filled with them. That and cardinals this year.
Cardinals, yes, I've had some cardinals. We saw a couple of eagles on Halfway Pond.
Yes, I get them. They fly over looking for my little birdies, and I get upset. But no, I can't wait for that Tidmarsh Farms to do their thing. Now, how about deer and animals such as that? Do you see them on your walks? They
No,
usually hide out
very
until...
rarely see a
Yeah.
deer, but we follow on occasion deer tracks.
Sure.
An interesting story is when we did the Wankinko Trail, that went down the Wankinko River to Tidmarsh, to Towne.
Yeah.
We came back by another route, which was on the other side of Frogfoot Reservoir.
Okay.
And the road stopped at one point, and there was a little depression in the surface. And I was the leader, so I could sort of look at the depression, but we had about a mile to go. And I wasn't sure that
What it was.
if it was the right way or not. But Ellie, a dog that comes with us on occasion, was there, and I could watch her, and she'd go over this way and back and forth, and she'd sniff exactly, follow the deer trail, and she brought us right to where we wanted to go. I
Excellent.
just had to follow her.
What kind of dog is Zoe?
It's a border collie.
Oh, I love border collies. I love them. They're smart.
She was pretty smart
Yeah,
that
they're
day.
very smart. So, so she got you out. How about any rare discoveries of flowers or a pond that nobody really knew that was there? Or
No, they're all
No.
on the map.
yeah,
And
they're-
flowers, I don't know one flower from another.
You don't?
But we discovered that old car.
You did. Well,
And a
that looked
boat.
like a 1938 something or other. That was old. God knows what happened to that. Now, have you visited the new hotel in the Pine Hills?
No, they have a grand opening on Saturday, so my wife and I have been invited to that,
Yeah,
being on the planning board.
right.
Yeah.
So you're going to go?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, Malcolm.
That's about probably the first and last time.
The first and last time it was. I understand that a glass of wine is like $18.
Oh, right down my alley.
Yeah. But I'm sure it'll have a following of super rich people, and I understand just to get in initially. The rates of 400 something a night,
Oh, yeah.
and that's a reduction.
Oh,
It'll go up after that.
yeah, I haven't heard anything about that.
So I mean, Pine Hills is still building out.
Yeah. I think they're about a little more than halfway done.
Yeah,
I haven't heard recently.
they're still building. I mean, there's a lot of builders. They're not building. They're laying dormant. But Pine Hills has never stopped.
No, they haven't. They've done well in the recession. And
Yeah.
because of the product,
The
I guess,
product.
is something new and different.
Yeah.
And
Well, they've got the market there. They cater to their people. They're building that elderly housing, and it's 60% bought out. The people in the Pine Hills are buying it for their parents.
oh, wow. Yeah, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, so they're coming in. And did you want to ask a question?
Malcolm, if somebody wanted to join your walking group, who would they get a hold of?
Me?
And could you give people your phone number, or are you in the book? Or?
Well, the best thing, the easiest way to do them is to look at Meetup, Friends of Miles Standish Meetup, because it's posted that way. But I'm happy to provide my phone number and
Great.
help anybody
Well,
along.
that way we can get a hold of you. Know how to get a hold of you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Are you going to do it?
No,
No. For a second I had a glimmer there.
I'm going back to the gym. Then I will.
Oh, yeah.
no.
The more people that come hiking, the
The
more
better.
people understand
Yeah.
how good it is and what we have here in town and how we should preserve it and not destroy it.
Do you think there are any roads or streets in this town you haven't been on? I know I haven't.
Not many.
42 years and there's still
Yeah,
places I have not seen.
I'm sure there are some, but I try and get just about everywhere.
You know, the big joke is when people move from Plymouth, they move to Plymouth. They move from the north end to the very tip. Yes, dear.
I was wondering if I could ask Malcolm a question.
Sure.
Malcolm, the work you're doing with trails and hiking trails is wonderful, and how you're working with the Conservancy. I wonder if you could explain to the people that are watching the benefits of cranberry bogs going back to nature, what that does to our aquifer, our waterways. I wonder if you would be kind enough to explain that to people who really haven't got a handle on it.
I'll give it a try.
Thank you.
One of the aspects of it is that, and the ones we've been restoring, they've sort of trapped rivers and separated the rivers. And there's one of them is the Wankinko, one of them is Towne Brook. Sorry, not Towne Brook. One of them is Eel River, and the Agawam River and Bartlett Brook. And when you remove the bogs, you allow the fish to migrate upstream and spawn. So it brings that whole fishery back into action, which is our feedstock for the bigger fish in the ocean. And if you remove the cranberry growing, you remove the fertilization of the land, which percolates into the groundwater, generally carrying nitrates in excess. And nitrates are things that dissolve in water, so they move right through with the water. There's nothing that they bind to in the soil and stay. And when the nitrates start to build in our water supply, it's like a fertilizer in the pond, so the ponds get eutrophic and green. If the nitrates get too high, then it's dangerous for young children. But we have sufficient rules in place in terms of drinking water now so that they would never get that high without being treated.
Wasn't there an area in Plymouth that was happening and the neighbors all got together and were trying to clean that nitrate?
Well, I don't know if the neighbors had much to do with it. I do know that a particular cranberry grower, and I believe, Malcolm, I think you know who this person is, I won't name them, decided that they would take their berries out of production. And in so doing, the water quality, they were doing some numbers on Bartlett Pond down at White Horse Beach, and the water was red. It was really bad. And when those bogs came out of production, the monthly readings went the other way.
Good,
So it's coming back now.
Coming back,
And it's all because of, as you said, the nutrients from the cranberry bog.
Right, and from septic systems, and that's why we put that condition on the building in Manomet to try and protect that.
I wish we weren't on septic.
To keep the ponds from getting eutrophic and green, like Billington Sea.
Yes.
Billington Sea has other problems. It's shallow, and the sun hits the bottom. But it does get a lot of nutrients from bogs and septic systems, and it's easier.
I've gotten quite an education on nutrients and the loading. And I want to thank you, along with the other board members, for that education, because I think it's helped to make me a better person.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, it's interesting stuff.
Thanks for dealing with my question.
Oh, you're welcome, anytime.
But that's true. If we don't take care of our resources, which brings me to my chief complaint. Plymouth is looking scarred with all our resources being stripped from the land and these big sand pits. It's awful, Malcolm. What can we do about it?
Stop giving them permits to dig sand. In the past, we've given permits, well, we've recommended to the Board of Appeals favorably for permits if it has to do with a cranberry bog.
Yes.
And other times have not looked favorably on it in our recommendation to the Board of Appeals. I'm of a mind now they've made such a mess and left such scars that I wouldn't vote for any excavation
I agree.
whatsoever. It is a scar. They let it drag on for years and years, even with subdivisions. They let them drag on for years and years without even vegetating them, and we've had a lot of trouble getting people to just give us a street view, which looks reasonable, even though they don't want to build.
It has
at
to
this point.
stop. It has to stop. And I know nobody wants to see, but some of these developers come in, Malcolm, and they, they'll tell you anything.
Oh, yeah.
But then they don't do what was asked of them.
Yeah, and they do, and it's difficult to police, and it's costly to police.
Yeah. And they know that.
Yeah, they do, yeah.
So I don't know what we can do, make them sign something. I mean, how about that?
They do sign something.
They
that
do
doesn't
sign-
seem to make any difference.
Yeah, and if you sue them, you can't, there's money down the drain. So I don't know.
I think we just have to be very judicious and very firm in our permits and make
Yeah.
sure they follow them.
Have to. Because the permitting process should be respected. Has to be respected.
Well, it has to be respected by you and I, because if we do something wrong, we probably don't have the wherewithal to
Yeah.
follow through and defend ourselves, whereas a lot of builders and developers might. Yeah.
Which brings me to another, solar or wind power? And, the debate rages on. And I understand solar. I wouldn't put it on my roof, though, because if something happens to your roof, you got to take the whole thing down.
Right. And they may be responsible for that. I don't know.
I don't know either.
I've been approached for my roof, and the savings I would get would be wasted because it would cost me that much to cut down the trees that I would need to cut
Yeah.
down to get the solar energy.
Right.
And the solar farms here, I think, should be on parking lots and building roofs. What they're
Yes.
doing is putting them in the woods and cutting down huge acreages of forest,
Acres and acres.
which makes no sense energy-wise.
I
The
don't think
trees
so.
are doing a better job of
Yeah.
gathering the energy than the solar panels over the life of a
Yeah.
solar panel.
Well, out in the Midwest and West, they do put them on buildings. Garages, they'll take any space you're going to give them.
Yeah.
And they put the solar on that. And they don't have that many trees anyway.
Right.
So they become innovative. And I think that's what we should do.
Oh, absolutely. And I've suggested that to a couple of developers, but they say it's too expensive.
Too expensive.
But one building in Shops at 5, or the Grove, it's one of those big box stores, has them on their
Oh,
roof.
they do?
Yeah.
I haven't noticed.
No, you can't see them unless
Oh,
you're
you
up.
can't see them.
up
Oh,
at-
no wonder. All right, we go in there for gas.
Hmm.
But wind power. You know Wedge Bramwell, God bless him.
I do.
And his place at the beach had this small wind turbine.
Wind turbine, yeah.
And it did his whole home.
Yeah.
It's nothing. That's what I would like to do. Get a small one, put it. How was that, Malcolm? How was that to do?
Well, those will work to do your whole house. He didn't have much in that
Right.
in that
Well,
house.
let's say just hot water.
Yeah, you could heat water with a fairly small one. They're high-speed turbines, so
Yes.
they make a little noise.
That's all right.
But you have to be open enough to let the wind get at them
Yeah.
when the wind is blowing.
Well, we're right across.
Yeah, so
we
you
get a
could,
lot of wind.
You could, if the trees didn't get in the way, you could put one in there and get some storage batteries
Who would
for
I
when there was
call for
extra.
that? how do you do that?
That's a good question. I don't know who's doing. I think the federal government has taken the stipends off of wind turbines now,
Oh.
but I'm not sure.
Oh, I wasn't even thinking about that. I
That's
was just thinking, who would you call to put a small? I know the big ones, but
Yeah.
not the small.
Yeah, I don't know who does it anymore, but they're not worth it. If you look at the cost of them and how much you would save,
Yeah, you
like
would
solar
have.
panels,
Yeah.
they're not worth purchasing them to get the savings. But when they're subsidized, they are, and the subsidies are meant to build up the industry so
Yeah.
that they get cheaper and cheaper and become economically feasible.
So turbines no longer get the subsidy?
I'm not sure, but I don't think so.
Why? I wonder why.
I don't know. Maybe I may be all wrong on that,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure.
I don't know.
We
either
haven't
way.
had any proposed recently because most of them are in court.
Yeah, what happened with the Stop and Shop one?
I believe I don't know whether they withdrew it or not, but I believe it was in court for a while, and they might have withdrawn it.
Yeah. You know,
Now, that was, to me, a perfect spot. They were complaining about noise, but they're right next to the highway, so the highway
know,
noise is far more than...
no kidding. I think it's just a convenient.
And the question I asked when they came in for our recommendation was, are there any people that live in that complex here who are opposed to this? And there weren't any. It was just the owner who's never there and the lawyer of the owner who was never there complaining about it.
Was he representing them?
No, he
people?
wasn't. He was representing the owner.
Himself. And you know, Stop and Shop was trying to save money.
Yeah.
You know, they run whatever off of it. The schools are doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, the schools are doing a great job.
A great job of it.
Oh,
But they were ahead of the curve.
Oh, thanks to one of my students.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
He works, he's in the facilities department. Actually, the head of the facilities department and his second in command both were Mass Maritime students.
Of course, the Mass Maritime. If you want to send your child to an excellent school, that's the school to send them. After high school, of course, you know.
Yeah, it's a college.
Yeah, it's a college. Yes, Stephen.
Yeah, I went to, I won't mention the company's name, but they came to me and they asked if I would like to have solar panels on my roof. And I was kind of hesitant at first because I had a problem with solar years ago with my solar hot water. But they explained to me how the solar panels have changed and not as big and bulky. And I have 16 panels on my roof. And my electric bill, I paid $28, and then I paid $46 to the solar panel people. And I used to pay at least $125.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, hold it. Did they say to you, if anything happened, let's say something happened to your roof, not this, and it wasn't the fault of the solar panels. Who replaces? I mean, now you have to fix your roof.
They will take the panels off, have my roof fixed, and they will put them back on at no cost.
Oh,
They
okay.
belong to them.
Yeah.
I don't own the panels. They belong to them. They're responsible for the maintenance, the upkeep, and everything else that goes with it.
That's very
Yeah.
interesting.
And the initial fee was, I believe, $1,000. They charged, and I got a $500 rebate from them, so it was $500.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, this summer's coming up, and we have a pool, and with the, and the
Wow.
dehumidifier and everything else. I can't wait to see my bill this summer. It's going to be great.
And your house is your air conditioned too.
Well, I got the new ductless air conditioners, which are more energy efficient than, I guess, the regular ones. So with
They
them,
are.
But yeah, I've been real happy.
That's
with it.
very interesting. Did you hear that, Mr. Bukes?
No, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
In my case, it would have cost me what they estimated to be my savings to cut down the trees I had to cut down.
And
so.
you have a lot of trees around
Yeah, there's a
your
lot of
house.
trees, so I didn't.
Yeah.
It was a wash, so I figured
Yeah.
I'd leave the
More
trees.
panels.
Sure.
I could have had more panels if I wanted to cut down some trees, and I said no.
Yeah.
I'm not touching any of my trees. They said
Yeah.
okay. We could have put in 18 to 20, but because of the trees, we only put in 16. But that's my savings, and I've been real happy.
Great. Yeah.
Who knew you were a greenie?
I don't know, not me. And the great thing is you can't see them. They lie
Yeah.
they're on the back side of my house. They
Yeah.
lie so flat that you can't even see them.
Where they should be in terms of big operations is on parking lots. And if you look, there's pictures of them on parking lots in California, for instance. It's a simple structure. Probably costs a little bit of money, but it's because it's a heavy steel structure. But that would absorb all of the energy that's hitting the parking lots. It would cool the
Yes.
cars. The cars wouldn't be 200 degrees now when you hopped in it
Yes.
because the energy would be absorbed before it gets there. That's a place we should really hammer people
Absolutely,
to.
I like that. You know, there's a place in Nevada that it's a solar field that is so bright that air pilots have to protect themselves.
Oh, wow.
The light coming from it at times during the day blinds them. And so now they're looking into how not to have that happen. But I like the idea of that they're responsible, they'll take care of it. But see, the back of my roof faces east.
Yeah, that's probably a little bit off, but they can
Yeah.
twist them.
Tilt them.
Yeah.
They come out and they did a survey of my house, and they told me exactly where they would go. 'Cause, you know, they could have been on the front or in the back, and they come out and they took a survey of the sun and the way at different times, you know, where it was, different times of the day, and they went back and put them in the computer and called me back up and said, nope, we can give you 16 panels on the back of your roof. And I said, great. And, I'll tell
And
you,
you've cut your electric bill
Oh, great.
unbelievable.
yeah.
I'm paying over $100 a month.
Yeah, oh
for-
yeah, it works.
My house is all electric, so
Oh my
I don't have
God.
gas for anything. I have electric washer, dryer,
Oh.
hot water, humidifier, stove, refrigerator. Everything's electric in my house.
How do you heat?
Oil.
Oil.
Other than
Okay, I
that,
thought you meant your
yeah,
electric.
no.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, the rest of my house is electric, and you know they add up. You know. And
Thank you, Stephen.
Yeah.
Kenny and I will now debate.
There's a wonderful book
Yeah.
called Hot, Flat, and Crowded, where a fellow named Thomas Friedman goes into putting solar panels on everything that's a roof or a parking lot and how you operate it.
Yeah.
But what he also recommends is controls on your washer and your dryer and things like this.
Oh, yeah.
So that they meter the electrical load, and only when it's cheap do they turn those things on. It's a really neat system.
Do you know in California in the shower, if you put up the hot water, the shower diminishes.
Yeah.
And it's at a level, they're telling you how warm your shower is going to be. You can't put it hotter because you're going to have a trickle.
It's a good idea. Yeah.
I was like, oh, please. So this was wonderful, Malcolm. And look at all you've done. And this isn't all of it.
Oh, that's
Nothing.
There's hundreds of them.
Thousands. Oh, my
Probably.
goodness. I want to thank you for being on the show, Malcolm. You know you're welcome here anytime. And this is the event is this Saturday?
Yes, the 5K Run for Conservation at Miles Standish State Forest.
Miles Standish State Forest. So that'll be happening. And
It's at the Charge Pond, and there'll be signs. for it.
Charge Pond. So get down there. And Malcolm, anytime. Thank you so much.
Thank you. This was fun.
I know. I like having you on. Allie's Galley is looking to move on. So if you'd like to run that business, give her a call. Now, what else is happening? I would like to thank our crew, Stephen and Ken, and we have an intern here, PJ. Hello, PJ. And he's been doing good all night. And I want to thank you, and I want you to have a very safe 4th of July and have a wonderful time. Have a great holiday. See you in 21.